The forest had teeth that night, not the gentle, metaphorical kind that poets scribble about. Real teeth. Long, yellowed canines that dripped with saliva thick as pine sap. They belonged to a black bear that weighed 487 pounds, old enough that the fur on its muzzle had gone iron gray, young enough that its shoulders still rippled with predatory muscle. In the Adirondacks, rangers call them problem bears when they lose their fear of humans. This one had never had any fear to lose. It had been born in a culvert under Route 73, raised on garbage bags and the occasional road-killed deer. It knew the smell of little girls, the way a banker knows the smell of money. Black bears are not grizzlies. That is the first thing people get wrong. Grizzlies charge, black bears stalk. They are opportunistic omnivores that prefer berries, grubs, and the occasional fawn. But when hunger and curiosity collide, they become something else entirely. Something patient, something that watches from the tree line the way a chess player studies a board, calculating angles, distances, the softest places to bite. Emily Hargrove was 7 years old and missing her front teeth. She had wandered 37 yards from the campsite while her mother, Sarah, argued with the campfire that refused to catch. 37 yards is nothing to a child chasing the orange flash of a salamander. It is everything to a bear that has been watching the bright flicker of a child's pink jacket for 20 silent minutes. The attack was soundless at first. No roar, no warning huff. Black bears rarely bother with theater. Emily felt the ground shake a half second before the impact. A freight train, made of muscle and claw, hit her from the left, lifted her clear off her sneakers, and closed its jaws around the delicate joint of neck and shoulder. There was one wet pop, like stepping on a rotten apple, and Emily's head came away in the bear's mouth as clearly as a dandelion losing its head. The body kept running for 3 more steps out of sheer neurological stubbornness before it folded. The bear stood over the twitching remains, head tilted, almost puzzled. Then it lowered its massive skull, clamped the headless torso by the waist, and trotted into the spruce thicket as casually as a dog carrying a chew toy. Blood painted a dotted line behind it, bright as spilled candy. Sarah heard nothing. The wind was wrong. She was still crouched over the fire ring, swearing at damp birch bark, when the forest swallowed her daughter whole. What's up, guys and gals? Iceman here. Welcome to Chilling Tales. So this one is a nasty one. And if you will, like this video, subscribe to the page, and hit the bell so you're notified next time I post a video, and blessings to my patrons. Links in the description below if you want to support me, but let's keep this thing going. Rangers later reconstructed the path from drag marks and broken ferns. The bear carried Emily 260 yards uphill to a ravine it had used before. An old home site collapsed into itself, choked with raspberry brambles and the rusted corpse of a Model T. There, it dug with the efficiency of a backhoe, flinging dirt and rooster tails until the hole was 4 foot deep. Black bears do not normally bury kills the way grizzlies cache them, but this bear had learned. Maybe from watching coyotes, maybe from something older wired into its blood. It dropped the body in. Emily's arms flopped outward like a broken doll. The bear paused, sniffed once, then squatted and released a steaming pile of feces directly onto the child's face, or what was left of it. The stench was deliberate. Bears mark territory with scat. They also mask scent. Wolves, coyotes, even other bears would smell the reek of digested berries and apple cores and keep moving. The bear urinated next. A long amber arc that soaked the pink jacket until it turned the color of rust. Then it kicked half a ton of forest duff and gravel over the corpse, and tamped it down with its dinner plate paws. By the time it ambled away, Emily Hargrove had vanished so completely that search dogs would walk within 15 feet of the grave 2 days later and register nothing but bear shit. Sarah noticed the silence first. Not the ordinary quiet of a forest at dusk, but the absolute absence of her daughter's voice. Emily had been singing the Frozen song off key for 40 minutes straight. When the singing stopped, Sarah assumed tantrum or sulk. She called once, twice, then sharper. The fire finally caught with a puff of orange, throwing her shadow long across the picnic table. "Emily, dinner in 10. Come back now." Nothing. She found one sneaker first, pink with glittery unicorns, lying on its side like it had been placed there as a joke. Then the dotted line of blood. Sarah followed it the way Hansel never should have trusted crumbs. The trail ended in churned earth and a single tuft of blonde hair caught on a thorn apple. That was when she started screaming. She ran deeper, crashing through Witch Hobble and Devil's Club, thorns ripping her forearms to ribbons. She did not feel them. Mothers in full panic can sprint through fire. Sarah Hargrove sprinted through a wall of spruce boughs, straight into 400 pounds of black bear, standing on its hind legs, lips wrinkled back from teeth the length of her fingers. The bear had come back, not for food this time, for cleanup. It dropped to all fours and charged. Sarah had exactly enough time to register the smell. Wet dog, rotten meat, and something electric like ozone before the bear hit her center mass. She flew backward, spine cracking, against a birch trunk hard enough to exfoliate the bark. The bear was on her before she could draw a breath to scream again. One swipe opened her from collarbone to navel. A second took her arm off at the elbow with the neatness of pruning shears. She tried to crawl, fingers scrabbling in the needles, and the bear bit down on the back of her skull. Not hard enough to kill instantly, hard enough to pin. It dragged her the same 260 yards, parallel to the first trail, but 20 feet to the left. Sarah was still alive when the bear began to dig the second hole. She watched the earth rain down on her face through a red curtain, whispering her daughter's name until the bear tired of the sound and crushed her larynx with a single shake. When it buried Sarah, it did not bother with scat or urine. Mothers, apparently, were not worth hiding. People will tell you black bears are timid, but they bluff charge and climb trees and would rather flee than fight. Most of the time, that is true. Most black bears weigh between 150 to 300 pounds. Most have never tasted human flesh. Most are content with sunflower seeds spilled from a bird feeder. But most is a useless word in the woods. Every year in North America, black bears kill between 1 and 3 people. Grizzlies, for all their reputation, kill fewer. The difference is intent. A grizzly wants you gone. A black bear wants to find out what you taste like. Predatory black bear attacks, distinct from defensive ones, follow a pattern: stalking, silent approach, multiple bites to the head and neck, consumption, or caching of the body. They prefer children and small women. They attack from behind. They are almost impossible to deter with noise or bear spray once committed, because curiosity has overridden fear. In the literature, these bears are called aberrant. Rangers call them people eaters. The bears themselves have no word for it. They're simply doing what evolution, perhaps, occasionally asks of them: test a new food source. The Adirondack bear was aberrant in the extreme. Biologists who later read the sign called it a serial predator, a phrase usually reserved for mountain lions or polar bears. In 23 years of cruising those mountains, no black bear had ever taken 2 humans in one night and buried both. The search began at dawn. Helicopters clattered overhead, dogs barked themselves hoarse. Volunteers in orange vests beat the bush in widening grids. They found Sarah first, because the bear had not tried to hide her. Her body lay half covered in a shallow scrape. One arm missing, face turned toward the ravine, as if still trying to crawl to her daughter. They never found Emily. Not really. A week later, after the search was scaled back and the news crews left, a biologist named Mara Patel followed a strange smell to the old home site. She found the Model T, the brambles, the disturbed earth. She dug with a towel and a growing sense of dread. 6 inches down, she hit pink fabric. Another foot, and she uncovered a child's sneaker still containing a small foot. She radioed it in, then sat on the rusted fender of the Ford and vomited until her ribs hurt. The bear was never caught. Trail cams caught glimpses, huge, silver-muzzled, moving through the frame like a black ghost. Traps baited with bacon and donuts stayed empty. In the end, wildlife officials did what they do when a bear crosses the invisible line. They declared open season. Every hunter in Essex County dreamed of the bounty that never materialized. Years later, loggers found a skull in a hollow log tree 3 miles away, small enough to fit in a man's palm. The sutures not yet fused. Dental records confirmed Emily. The rest of her, bones picked clean and scattered by rodents, turned up over a 5-acre stretch, as if the forest itself had digested her. Sarah's wedding ring was recovered from bear scat on the summit of Noonmark Mountain, polished bright by digestive juices. If you camp in the high peaks and a ranger pulls you aside, he'll tell you the same thing. Voice low so the kids don't hear. Black bears are like people. 99.9% are decent, but that's 0.1. That one will follow your kid for half a mile just to see if she tastes like chicken. And if she runs, game over. They can hit 30 miles an hour downhill. You can't. So keep your kids in sight, always. And if you smell something dead in the berries, walk the other way. That's not a deer carcass. That's bait. Then he'll look over his shoulder at the dark wall of spruce and add, almost too quiet to hear, some bears don't climb trees when you yell. Some bears just wait until you're asleep. Out there, in the place where Emily's salamander vanished into the moss, the forest still has teeth. And sometimes, late at night when the wind is wrong, you can smell apples rotting and something under it, something electric like ozone, moving just beyond the circle of your fire, listening.